Are these 24 karat? It's a yes. It's a yes. I love you.
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of RT Essentials. I'm Maud Garrett. The presence of LGBTQ+ characters in TV and film has become more and more common, at least compared to how things were just a couple of decades ago. But thanks to these names we'll be talking about today, and many more, a path has been paved for all different forms of representation in the movies we watch and the shows we binge, steadily normalising what, for many people, is just living their own lives. From the good Dr. Frankenfurter to Ellen, Morgan, that is, to David from Schitt's Creek and more, let's dive into our list of the most groundbreaking LGBTQ+ characters. Ellen Morgan. Ellen.
I mean, what is wrong? Why do I have to be so ashamed? I mean, why can't I just say the truth? I mean, be who I am. I'm 35 years old. I'm so afraid to tell people. I mean, Susan, I'm gay.
Kicking things off is a character whose coming out moment was about as groundbreaking as it gets, and that's Ellen Morgan from the 90s sitcom Ellen. Ellen DeGeneres starred in and produced this series that ran for 5 seasons and 109 episodes from 1994 to 1998. It's about her character, Ellen Morgan, and her dealings with quirky friends, family, and the problems of everyday life living in Los Angeles. While DeGeneres did go on to dominate daytime TV for nearly 2 decades, this series and the character Ellen Morgan remain quite notable to this day as one of the first shows in the US with the main character to come out as gay, in what turned out to be a historic moment. Hints were made throughout season 4 about Ellen's sexuality, and near the end of the season, in an episode called the Puppy episode, Ellen Morgan memorably and even hilariously, I mean it was a sitcom, came out in an airport to Laura Dern's character, I mean she's only human, and the rest of the terminal. DeGeneres had publicly revealed that she was gay on the Oprah Winfrey Show and in Time magazine shortly before this memorable moment took place. So naturally there was a ton of media exposure, and with that came plenty of controversy, enough to prompt ABC to place a parental advisory warning at the beginning of each episode. The show also lost sponsors, and ABC even reportedly received a bomb threat. You gotta calm down.
Peter, look at me. Do I look like I'm unhappy?
I don't think you're happy.
Well, I am happy.
You don't sound happy.
Well, I am happy.
Ratings were high during the initial frenzy, but eventually declined, and combined with some lingering backlash about the, quote, gay content being shown on a weekly basis, it was enough for ABC to pull the plug at the end of season 5. The series, which was called These Friends of Mine early on, but changed to avoid the confusion with a new NBC show called Friends, began in syndication in 1998 and ran in various forms for the next 20 years. But Ellen Morgan's big moment is one that will run in syndication in the LGBTQ+ TV history books forever. Captain Raymond Holt, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I simply said what I wish had been said when Kevin and I got married.
Oh, well, then I never would have heard your hilarious efficient quip.
You're right. I regret nothing. But all this does make me think I might enjoy a more festive expression of our commitment to one another.
Are you suggesting we hold an honest-to-goodness wedding?
Nothing too elaborate. We're not the Kardashian Wests, after all.
From one sitcom to another, the next character on this list is Captain Raymond Holt, coming our way from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that is. This series aired on Fox and later NBC for a total of 8 seasons from 2013 to 2021, becoming known for its portrayal of serious issues while retaining a sense of humour. It's centered around Andy Samberg's Jake Peralta, an NYPD detective in Brooklyn's 99th district who is often butting heads with his commanding officer, Captain Raymond Holt, played by Andre Braugher. The character of Holt is proud to be the first black gay police captain in the NYPD, and his stoic and deadpan demeanour was his trademark on the show, endearing him with other characters, not to mention the fans and critics, as he eventually developed fatherly relationships with most of his detectives. Among the praise Brooklyn Nine-Nine received during its run was for its candid portrayal of the serious issues affecting LGBTQ people.
Who gives a rat's about Boethius, Wesley?
What are you doing, Kevin?
I'm creating a kerfuffle. Sure, my husband is a hot piece of
But he is so much more than just that. Raymond Holt is as smart as anyone in this department, but he chooses to use his intelligence to make our city a better place. One day, I hope to live up to the standard you set. You make me want to have a wetter brain.
Oh, Kevin.
Plus, the presence of a successful, serious black man in a same-sex interracial marriage has been considered unprecedented. And the coming out of Detective Rosa Diaz, played by Stephanie Beatriz, in the 99th episode, was described as an important representation of sexual orientation. Brower was Emmy-nominated 4 times for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series for playing Captain Holt, and he won the Critics' Choice Award for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series 2 different times. Plus, the show itself won 1 GLAAD Media Award out of 6 nominations for Outstanding Comedy Series and its portrayal of LGBTQ+ people. Dr. Frankenfurter, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rocky.
Happy birthday.
Shall we?
The next character on this list is just what the doctor ordered, as in Dr. Frankenfurter from the 1975 film The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Based on a 1973 musical stage production, this movie is a parody tribute to the horror and sci-fi B-movies of the 1930s through to the early 1960s. The story centers on a young, engaged couple whose broken-down car brings them upon a mansion occupied by strangers in costume there to celebrate. And the head of the house is the one and only Dr. Frank N. Furter, played by Tim Curry, the alien transvestite from the planet Transsexual in the galaxy of Transylvania, and also a mad scientist who makes a living muscle man in his lab. Look, not your average movie character. This was the theatrical movie debut for Curry, who was among the many cast members from the original London stage production to reprise their roles in the film. Curry said he based Frank N. Furter's voice on the Queen of England, as in extravagantly posh, and you gotta love it. The initial reception for the Rocky Horror Picture Show was very negative, but it quickly gained popularity as a midnight movie, especially after audiences started playing along with it at the screenings. And what began at the Waverly Theatre in New York in 1976 continued to grow and expand outside the city and eventually all over the world. And now, today, with the film still technically in limited release in some theatres, it's the longest-running theatrical release in film history at 46 years and counting. That is so cool. And much of that cult following came from and continues to come from the LGBTQ community, identifying with and appreciating the embrace of sexual liberation. And communities within a community have been formed as people keep going back for repeat viewings.
One from the vaults.
It's now considered one of the greatest musical films of all time and was selected for the preservation in the National Film Registry. #legit status. And the role of Dr. Frank N. Furter has lived on, this time with transgender actress Laverne Cox taking over for Fox's 2016 TV movie, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, Let's Do the Time Warp Again. But seriously, let's do the time warp again. It's just a jump to the left. Jules Vaughn, Euphoria.
What? For real? Like, he's so sweet. What school does he go to? St. Mary's. Ew, private school. You're just jealous.
The next character on this list is Jules Vaughn from the hit HBO series Euphoria. This show is based on the Israeli miniseries of the same name and follows teenager Zendaya's Rue Bennett and some of her friends as they deal with identity, drugs, trauma, relationships, and plenty more. Rue is a recovering drug addict trying to find her place in the world, and she enters what turns out to be a turbulent relationship with a transgender girl named Jules Vaughn, played by Hunter Schafer. And much like her character Jules, Hunter is new to town as a model turned actress in her acting debut, which only happened after her modelling agency urged her to try out. Hunter is a trans woman who transitioned after being diagnosed with dysphoria in 9th grade, and some of her own personal experiences have helped series creator Sam Levinson shape the storyline for Jules.
I don't know why Jules didn't trust me, or why she'd think I'd ever hate her. There's literally nothing in the world that Jules could do to make me upset. I even told her that.
Yeah, right. No, for real. It's true.
And the character has definitely helped Hunter make an impact away from the set, as she was named by online magazine Queerty in 2020 as one of the 50 heroes who are leading the nation towards equality, acceptance, and dignity for all people. While Time magazine named her on its list of 100 emerging leaders who are shaping the future in 2021, with a tribute written by her co-star Zendaya. Of course, fans of the show love Jules and have called out the lack of Emmy love for Hunter and other transgender actors. But Hunter's performance, along with Zendaya's, has been singled out by critics as among the best in the series, while also praising the show's approach to the more mature subject matter. And while some controversy has sprouted up over the amount of nudity and sexual content in a teenage setting, it has become the second most watched HBO show ever after Game of Thrones, with a third season announced in February of 2022. Taylor Mason, Billions.
No, you're right. I wasn't born with a broadsword in my hand, but I was forced to learn how to wield one, so I did. And now I'm going full Sir Tristram de Leon until I pierce Axe's shield and drive it into his mother heart.
Next on our list of the most groundbreaking LGBTQ+ characters is Taylor Mason from the Showtime series Billions. This show, with 6 seasons and counting under its belt, tells the story of a big-shot hedge fund manager and the US attorneys who are attempting to prosecute him and others for potentially shady dealings. The character of Taylor Mason, played by Asia Kate Dillon, was introduced as a recurring market analyst in Season 2 and quickly became a main part of the cast and storyline by Season 3. Taylor, much like Dillon, is non-binary and uses singular they-them pronouns, as they made it very clear when they first appeared on screen.
Hello, I'm Taylor. My pronouns are they, theirs, and them.
Okay. You have 2 minutes.
And with the casting, Billions became what is considered to be the first mainstream American TV series to have a non-binary character. And if that's not groundbreaking enough for you, before this show, Dillon appeared in a handful of episodes of Orange is the New Black in 2016, making them one of the first non-binary actors cast in a major TV show. And the impact of Taylor Mason carried over to the awards circuit, where, for Emmy consideration, Dillon was allowed to submit for whichever gendered category they preferred. But taking it a step further was the MTV Movie and TV Awards, who combined their gender-segregated categories beginning in 2017, aka just giving out awards for just Best Actor. And speaking of awards, Dillon's performance as Taylor Mason has earned them 3 Best Supporting Actor nominations at the Broadcast Film Critics Association Awards. And the show itself has 3 nominations for Outstanding Drama Series at the GLAAD Media Awards, recognising its representation of the LGBTQ community. And in 2019, Dillon was named in online magazine Queerty's Pride 50 list of trailblazing individuals, pretty much for all the reasons that we just laid out, and then some. David Rose, Schitt's Creek.
What does that mean? What does fold in the cheese mean? He folds it in. I understand that, but how do you fold it? Do you fold it in half like a piece of paper and drop it in the pot, or what do you do?
There is nothing about this next character, David Rose from Schitt's Creek, unless of course you ask David's sister, Alexis. This series was created by father and son Eugene and Dan Levy, who both star as part of a rich family that loses its fortune and relocates to Schitt's Creek, a small town they once purchased as a joke. Been there, done that. Dan plays David Rose, the spoiled adult son of Johnny and Moira Rose, whose story progresses to the point of focusing on his small business, Rose Apothecary, and his romantic relationship with Patrick Brewer, played by Noah Reid. David, whose personality is further accentuated by his designer wardrobe, avoided labelling his sexual orientation on the show until one unforgettable scene, and a perfect wine label analogy. David is one of the first openly pansexual characters depicted on TV, and Dan Levy, who told Andy Cohen in a 2020 interview that he was gay and has been out since he was 18, drew some of the inspiration for the character from his own life experiences.
My wedding was already ruined. But for what it's worth, I am continuously impressed by you. Now, can you please walk me down the aisle before people lose interest?
Hey, David. It would be my honor.
Okay.
One One of the main reasons the show has been such a hit with fans and critics is the casual treatment of David's sexuality and the lack of any sort of homophobia in the town or on the show, which was considered rare for television. With that, the series won 2 Dorian Awards, given by the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics, plus 2 GLAAD Awards for Outstanding Comedy Series and its representation of LGBTQ characters. And Dan Levy picked up an Emmy for his performance of David Rose as part of Schitt's Creek, earning 15 Emmy nominations for its final season, becoming the first series to sweep all 7 major comedy awards. And if we can decide for a second that ew actually means great job, then please allow me to say, ew, David. Chiron, Moonlight.
Why'd you call me? I told you, man. Dude came in. Yeah.
The next character on this list has such a story that it took 3 different actors to play him. I'm talking about Chiron from the Oscar-winning film Moonlight. This coming-of-age drama was written and directed by Barry Jenkins and covers 3 stages in the life of the main character, Chiron: childhood, adolescence, and early adult life. With 3 actors, Alex Hibbett, Ashton Sanders, and Trevante Rhodes, telling the story, the film explores the challenges Chiron faces with his sexuality and identity, including the emotional and physical abuse he endured growing up. This marked the first LGBTQ film and the first film with an all-black cast to win the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Well, man, there'll be 4 other knuckleheads sitting right next to you.
You don't even know.
Listen, son, listen. I'm not blaming you.
And many have highlighted the importance of its message, not just acceptance of homosexuality within black communities, but also embracing boys who exist outside of that hardened world, and how masculinity can be expressed in many different ways. Along with Best Picture, Moonlight won Oscars for Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Supporting Actor for Mahershala Ali out of 8 nominations total. And the film also won a GLAAD Award for Outstanding Film and its representation of LGBTQ characters, among many, many other awards. And after giving distinct and memorable performances as Chiron, Alex Hibbett went on to star in the Showtime series The Chi. Ashton Sanders appeared in the critically acclaimed film Judas and the Black Messiah, and Trevante Rhodes, an accomplished track and field sprinter in his younger days, appeared in the popular Netflix film Bird Box. And Moonlight, the second lowest grossing film behind The Hurt Locker to win a Best Picture Oscar, continues to be cited as one of the best films of the 21st century. Sophia Bursett, Orange is the New Black.
You know you don't have to keep trying, right? We're not in prison anymore. We can do whatever we want. Be whatever we want.
Yeah, but you can't pretend that prison just didn't happen.
No, but I'm not going to spend the rest of my life looking back on it either.
Doing her time in the next spot on our list is Sophia Bursett from the Netflix series Orange is the New Black. Running for 7 seasons between 2013 and 2019, this show takes place at a minimum security prison in New York and revolves around the characters and drama involved both behind and in front of the bars. Among the inmates is Sophia Bursett, a trans woman sent to prison for credit card fraud. She's played by transgender actress and LGBTQ advocate Laverne Cox. And with her casting, this is considered one of the first series with a woman in prison narrative to cast a transgender woman as a transgender character. Cox stressed the importance of her character during a press tour in 2013, saying that trans folks need to see representations of people who are like them and their experiences, and that Sophia is a multi-dimensional character who the audience can really empathise with. All of a sudden, they're empathising with a real trans person.
You need some of these. I made my own. Couture. Commissary don't carry a size 13.
Is that duct tape?
Metallics are very in this season.
And as Sophia became popular with fans and critics of the show, Cox became the first transgender person to be nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award in an acting category, which happened 4 times, and the first to be nominated overall since composer Angela Morley in 1990. Sophia opened the door for Cox, who then became the first transgender person to play a transgender series regular on a network series where she appeared on the CBS show Doubt. And she became the first trans woman to win a Daytime Emmy Award for her executive producing her own special. Look, I could go on, but it's also worth noting that Orange is the New Black was also nominated for 3 GLAAD Media Awards and won 1 for Outstanding Comedy Series and its representation of LGBTQ+ characters, like Sophia Bursett. I mean, you gotta love a full circle moment here. Will Truman and Jack McFarland. Will and Grace.
See, there's this one teensy little complication. Actually, not so teensy.
Are you
I'm
hungry?
Gay. What?
Are you
I'm
hungry?
gay.
The next spot on this list is probably feeling a little cozy right about now because it has 2 characters, Will Truman and Jack McFarland from Will and Grace. This series ran on NBC from 1998 until 2006 and then returned in 2017 for 3 more seasons, making it a total of 11. It covers the ups and downs of dating, relationships, and casual sex among a group of friends that include Will Truman, a gay lawyer played by Eric McCormack, and Grace Adler, an interior designer played by Deborah Messing. And rounding out the group is Megan Mullally's Karen Walker, a drunk socialite, and a gay actor named Jack McFarland played by Sean Hayes. This series faced initial criticism for what some considered to be a stereotypical portrayal of gay characters, but it went on to become a staple of NBC's must-see TV Thursday night lineup, and one of the most successful TV series with gay principal characters.
Pass me the ball. Jack. Come on, Will. Is that the best you can do? You are embarrassing. Ow!
So sorry. Are you okay?
Ow. My finger feels a little funny.
Huh. That's not right.
And it's not just critics who have heaped praise on the TV show and its characters. In 2006, then Vice President Joe Biden credited Will and Grace for educating and improving public opinion of the LGBT community. And in 2014, the Smithsonian Institution included items from this series in its LGBT history collection, with the curator saying that the sitcom used comedy to familiarize a mainstream audience with gay culture in a way that was daring and broke ground in American media. This was the highest rated sitcom among adults aged 18 to 49 for 4 straight years in the early 2000s and earned a total of 83 Emmy nominations and winning 18, including Outstanding Comedy Series and at least 1 acting award for each of the 4 main stars. Brandon Teena, Boys Don't Cry.
I'm gonna stand right here until you're safe inside, okay?
And finally, the last spot on our list of the most groundbreaking LGBTQ+ characters is Brandon Teena from the 1999 film Boys Don't Cry. This movie is a dramatization of the real-life story of Brandon Teena, played by Hilary Swank, a trans man who went to Nebraska searching for love, but ended up falling victim to a brutal sexual assault and murder at the hands of 2 male acquaintances in December of 1993 when he was 21. The film was directed and co-written by Kimberly Peirce, who became interested in the case after reading a 1994 Village Voice article. She was a film student at Columbia University and was interested in telling the story from Brandon's perspective. To prepare for the role, Hilary Swank lived her life as a man for about a month, which included wrapping her chest in tension bandages and putting socks down the front of her pants, similar to the way that Brandon Teena did.
Okay, superstar. Wow. What's with the shirt? That is the most frightening thing I've ever seen in my life.
And apparently the preparation worked, because not only did she fool her neighbours, who thought it was her visiting brother, but Swank won Best Actress for her performance as Brandon. Boys Don't Cry did get some attention for its graphic rape scene, which had to be toned down to avoid an NC-17 rating from the MPAA. But ultimately the film was praised for its themes, particularly the causes of violence against LGBTQ people, significantly transgender people. And for good measure, it was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress in 2019. Alrighty, that is our list of the most groundbreaking LGBTQ+ characters. Thanks for checking it out. And other than immediately re-binging Schitt's Creek, which one of these characters will you be watching next? Let us know. Thanks for tuning into RT Essentials. I'm Maud Garrett.